Okay, so I have downloaded the XAMPP and Dev PHP installers here. I'm just going to begin by double clicking on the XAMPP installer. And we're going to just install, just install it onto czamp. It might put a subdirectory called XAMPP already, but that's alright. Like I said before, I really do want this course to be a looking over my eyes as I do this, so that's why I'm just letting the video record the installation for XAMPP. I want you to actually just literally see what I'm saying during this whole process. So this should be finishing up soon, and then we'll go on to Dev PHP. Alright, now XAMPP is going through and asking you for setup. So should I add shortcuts to the start menu or desktop? You can. I'll just say yes here. Okay. Current directory does not match pre-configured directory. Should I proceed? Yes, okay, the pre-configured directory is C:\\. So if you left it as C:\\, you're probably not going to get this message, but I changed it. So yeah, proceed. It's going to change the paths. Should I make a portable XAMPP without drive letters? Yeah, we don't need a portable XAMPP. We're not going to be putting this on a USB stick. It's going to relocate only because I changed the default path. So these are all the products you get too. So you got the XAMPP base package, Apache, FileZilla as an FTP server. A lot of people know FileZilla as the client. The FileZilla FTP server is there so you can upload to your install. Mercury, MySQL, OpenSSL for secure connections, Perl, PHP, PHP-MyAdmin, SendMail for mail sending, WebAlyzer for traffic analysis, and the XAMPP demo page. So XAMPP's ready for use. Alright, I've set the time zone PHP in Miami to America, New York. Well, I guess that works for me. I'm in the East Coast here in the United States. Make sure that whatever is set, if the time zone is wrong for where you're at, although it's not really important, you basically do want, it is important when we're doing the time and date section of PHP, but for most part what we'll be doing is not really important. Production environments obviously care about log file timestamps and that kind of thing, but anyway, this course is not designed for a production environment. The XAMPP and dev PHP are not to be installed in a production environment. This is purely for education. The material in the course, though, can be used to develop production applications. Keep that in mind, though. Okay, so basically, php.ini is the configuration file for PHP. My.ini is the configuration file for MySQL. If the time zone is wrong, just make sure you go into those files, and there's a section into XAMPP that you can go in directly and edit them, or dev PHP lets you edit them one way or the other. Alright, so this is the setup / control menu for XAMPP. I basically, yeah, so it did do C:\XAMPP. So you can just leave C:\, and it'll be fine. So we're going to start the XAMPP control panel, which pops up. I'm going to slide it over here. Starts a nice little GUI control panel. I'm not sure which services I want to enable quite yet because dev PHP does bring in an Apache version, and I'm not entirely sure which of these services I want to start. So I'm not going to start them quite yet. I'm pretty sure, I don't know what these things do. Okay, that just brings up the same page. What's port check do? Cur ports. Okay, anyway. Oh, okay, so it's showing you what they're actually running on, what these ports are free, what ports are free. So anyway, okay. Alright, so I'm just going to minimize this. It should minimize, I'd hope. Maybe not. What's it doing? There it goes. Alright, minimize the shell. And yeah, also puts an icon up here to the control panel so you can always access it. Alright, so now I will exit, and now I'll double click on dev PHP. And dev PHP is a very easy install. So let's see what options are. I don't need it in the quick launch bar, so the standard options here should be sufficient, and we'll install it. And I'll run dev PHP just to give you an idea what it looks like here. Did you know you shouldn't disable these tips? Okay, it's a funny developer here. Okay, so, well, we won't for the most part. Unless we change it later. So here's, since the video window is do something like this. So it lets you develop right here, and this is a regular PHP page. There's external preview. Cannot execute an empty file. That's true. All right, so I'm just going to test what we'll do here. I'm going to cover this kind of stuff, obviously in later lessons. So I just want to see if we're cannot execute an empty file. Why would it say that? Maybe. What if I? Ooh. Let's see here. Trying to figure out. Why don't I create a new folder for project data? And I'll see if I can save it. Hold on a second. Okay, so I figured it out. One of the things I did do was I initially I hit start on Apache over here in the XAMPP control panel, and it prompted me to install the service. I just want to make mention, because in case we do have to start Apache later, you'll get that pop-up box, and I already got it, so I won't be able to show it to you on the video. But the service is installed, and I actually stopped Apache here. It's not actually needed on this side of the house here. So what I did have to do though was I went up to Tools, Options, and I hit General Options. And under General Options, there's it says PHP CGI and PHP INI. I hit the box here, and it took me. Went into the XAMPP directory that I was in, and found PHP CGI for the PHP CGI box here, and PHP INI for the PHP INI. And what this does is it's telling me that I want to use the PHP that's installed with the XAMPP PHP. So I'm pointing specifically to that. The doc root is the C drive for the XAMPP install by default. Okay, so when you specify the PHP INI and the PHP CGI, you'll get a tab that says internal preview. Okay, so when that comes up, you can click on it, and I put echo PHP info with parentheses over here, and then PHP info is a function of PHP, which PHP will basically give you all sorts of information about its installation. So I did that, and what you see, and then click internal preview, and it actually ran, and shows me it's PHP version 5.3.1, and there's just all sorts of information. Here's the PHP INI path and that kind of thing. So anyway, so I can do all sorts of things at this point. I can let's see. It's not. See, warning date expects at least one parameter. We haven't gotten to the date stuff, but I'm just messing around. There's the epoch time for Unix. So you'll get. I wanted to test to make sure warnings were turned on. There's also, if you wanted to edit the PHP INI, there's a. I don't know if there's an edit for my.ini, but anyway, my.ini. But you can edit the PHP INI here. There might be a few settings that we need to change. In fact, I want to see about register globals. Oops. Control Z here to back out. Register globals. Oh, what's it doing? Oh, I gotta find out what the find next option is here. Search next F3. Okay. Register globals is off. That's good. I want it off for our testing. It's best not to use it. And I also am curious to know what the warnings, the error options are. But since it showed me the error in the internal preview, I'm okay with it. We can close. How do you close? By the way, I don't use these things to develop, but I am using them to make the course. So no, we're not going to save the changes. So I basically am, just like you, learning how they work, and I figure it kind of keeps it realistic because I'm learning with you. So okay, so that's good. There's nothing that needs to be turned on with XAMPP quite yet. We might have to turn on the MySQL and PHP MyAdmin portions of it, but we'll find that out when we get to the MySQL section. With that, we can proceed over to Unit 2 for the introduction to the PHP content. And yeah, and I'll see you over there in that section.